Thou Do. I'm Thou Do. Here I am on the center of the Mayan zodiac, surrounded by the 19 sadhus, which are ushering in, amongst other people, the fifth age, which we're now in. And I'm so happy to announce number 15. I've been bugged, as anyone who knows me, who've been following me, like, who is this person? Who is this person? I thought it was Max Kaiser. I thought it was Pumpy, whatever his name is. You know, Pump. I thought it was A Pump and Pumpy Land. Those three people I thought it was. Well, it wasn't. It was Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor, the moment I saw his video, I was like, aha, he's number 15. And here is why. Because, see, Michael Saylor represents basically corporate America moving into Bitcoin in a very massive way, right? And I knew the moment I saw the video that Tesla was going to go into Bitcoin, right? And if Tesla goes into Bitcoin, other large corporations are going to start putting their money not in fiat, but they're going to store their cash reserves in Bitcoin, right? Which is ultimately has a much better return than any bank, all right? And what's going to happen is it's going to speed up the consumption of the finite amount of Bitcoin that's out there, which is going to drive up the price of Bitcoin and ultimately usher in the first stage of the fifth age, which is the age of the undoing of fiat, and as the global reserve currency replacement of Bitcoin. Bitcoin within the next 20 years will become the global reserve currency, maybe sooner than 20 years. Now, I'm making even a bolder prediction right now that we are now in sight of the end of fiat in itself, okay? Fiat, as in the dollar, as in the pound, and so on, is going to go. And it's going to go and end because ultimately of Bitcoin, of a new framework of entities that are already out there. They're called DAOs, Decentralized Autonomous Organizations, or what I described to the founders of Ethereum back in 2011 as open corporations and open organizations. They renamed them as DAOs and Decentralized Autonomous Corporations, Decentralized Autonomous Organizations. And they won't have shares. They will have a token instead. And everyone who participates within these organizations, right, will be tokenized. Now, what I am introducing, right, and you can look at the work that I'm now making available, is the tokenization framework, the FoundUps tokenization framework, that will allow anyone to be the next Bitcoin. And I want you to imagine a world where you can create Bitcoin. You don't need a lot of processing, anything else. Why? Because Bitcoin already exists, and you're just creating, you're just adding a token on top of existing token. That's what Ethereum does. That's all these different, tokens that people are buying and selling that are going up in price, where there's Chainlink and everything else. They're all pretty much that, right? They're just a token on top of some other blockchain. Now, because there are literally hundreds of blockchains, you could create a tokenization framework that is blockchain ubiquitous. We don't care about the blockchain. And you can create the same token like Bitcoin, and we'll have the same data growth through the hash rate from the beginning. So depending on the size of the network, and what do you think is the egg network, or what do you think is the bakery network, or what do you think is the haircut network, or what do you think? All these networks already exist, and every one of these networks, whether it is the Ganj token or the Moringa token or the egg token or the bread token, or all these networks already exist. And Whenever you buy eggs, you earn this token. When you buy bread, you earn this token. Whenever you get a haircut, you earn this token. And guess what? All these tokens are interchangeable because they all exist on the same framework, okay? Kind of like how Chainlink links everything together. And no one is pre-allocated this token, just like no one was pre-allocated the token of Bitcoin. But as the network grows and people start exchanging egg tokens for bread tokens and so on and so on and so on, why do you need fiat, right? Now, where this will explode and happen very quickly, right, will be places like townships and small communities. I want you to imagine social media sites where you are tokenized. The moment you create a social media site on Minds, for example, imagine when you create a Minds account, which is a decentralized Facebook, right? You are tokenized. As you grow that network, the value, the hash rate of your token is automatically growing. And because it's all part of the same network, the tokens are all interchangeable. So I don't need to go and try to figure out what your token and my token is worth. It is automatically done by AI. So there is the Bitcoin, the AI, or the blockchain, and the AI. And here is what happens to Bitcoin and why Bitcoin happens. And it's right here where you see Bitcoin, and right here, here's the AI right here. Around here, this is the Bitcoin Global Reserve Fund, or the Bitcoin Vault. And right here is all the blockchains, right? And undoubtedly is struggling, that's me, sitting on this foundation of Bitcoin, right? So the whole zodiac is right here. The whole explanation of it is right here. So imagine now every microtransaction that's happening, a few Satoshi all the time is going into this Bitcoin vault. I don't control the Bitcoin vault. You don't control the Bitcoin vault. No one controls the Bitcoin vault. It is just a vault to create the Bitcoin standard for all of these tokens that exist, that basically are being created. So as these tokens reach a certain value, they become a stable token. And what's beautiful is because all this is managed by AI, there is no pump and dump. These tokens could exist on an exchange. Someone could take their tokens and stick them on an exchange, right? They could be pumped and dumped or whatever. But for the most part, all these tokens are going to become very much like Tether and other of these stable coins, where you can't really manipulate them, and they're the infrastructure of the network creates their value, because the network knows exactly what the hash rate of this token is, how many are using it, what are buying it, what are talking about it. All these different things go into the valuation of these tokens. And just as that one guy took that 1,000 Bitcoins for that pizza, that one hairdresser is going to say, you know what, I want more of those hairdresser tokens, right? Because I know they have value, and because they're ubiquitous and interchangeable with all these other tokens, right? In essence, you can think of it that they all have different names, but in essence, they're all kind of the same token, but with that different values of that same token. So why would you need a world with money if all I could do is I have these tokens that I am generating just by participating? The participation of someone becomes the mining, right? That's my energy, what I do with it, what I talk about, what I involve myself in. And in exchange for that participation, I'm earning these tokens. And we create the framework that allows anyone to create these tokens to create this whole new ecosystem, right? So that's it. There you go. Undoubtedly to you. If you understand Bitcoin, then the leap of faith, or understanding that data is there over a 10-year period, and that these tokens can easily be created and can exist on any blockchain, it's pretty exciting. So I'm sharing this, right? I want other people to start thinking about this. There is no ICO, there is no IEO, there's no pre-launch. We will develop this just like Bitcoin was developed, and and I'm looking at hopefully, launching this as part of Cardano, being the first chain that will launch this on. And since I made that announcement, you can see Cardano went from 30 cents to 80 cents. What's going on with Cardano? They also have a new release coming up. But Cardano, a vehicle for Danos. Danos are decentralized autonomous nonprofit organization, and that's what FoundUp's ultimately become. These, when a token grows, right, and does its OPO, and it could happen in, 10 years, before 10 years, it becomes a kind of DAO, which is a global cooperative. So these token networks become these global cooperatives where there are no shareholders, there are no, board of directors. There's just the participants, and and transparency, and objectivity, I guess. Where we want to go. Making the world equitable for everyone, treating everyone, as though they are equally as important as anyone else, and leveling the playing field. That's what it's all about, undoubtedly. End of fiat, 20 years is my prediction. Within 20 years, it can happen in 10. Now that Tesla is in. Anyway, just long talk. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to hit the like button, follow button. I hate doing that, but people just don't do it unless you tell them, I guess. Take care.